If you're currently taking this course as part of the Web Development Masterclass, you might recall that in the beginning of this course, we installed the WAMP or MAMP testing server on our local machine. We did this specifically to be able to test our developed PHP scripts on our computer without having to upload them to a production server. If you have not done so already, launch your WAMP or MAMP server. To do that, double-click on the icon that looks like this. This icon may be on your desktop, but if not, then you can access it directly from the file path listed below or through your Start menu. The server will launch and you will see a small icon appear on your system tray. When the icon turns green, it's an indication that the WAMP server has successfully started up and is running. If you need a refresher on how to configure the WAMP or MAMP server, refer back to our section on setting up your testing server. In order for us to test our scripts, we need to make sure that we store our PHP scripts inside the web root folder contained within the MAMP or WAMP directory. When you install WAMP, the main folder is typically created inside your C drive. So you'll need to open this folder. So I'll go ahead and access it. So here I'm in the C drive, and as you can see, I have the folder WAMP listed here. If you're on a Mac machine, you'll have MAMP. If I double click in there, we can see the www directory. This is a very important folder. All our websites need to be stored in this folder. It's referred to as the web root folder. It's best to organize all your websites inside this folder. So for example, if we have 4 websites, we would create 4 individual folders that would contain the contents of each site. For the purpose of this course, make a folder called PHP Lessons. We'll store all our PHP scripts in this folder so we can test them as we progress through the course. In this lesson, we will create a basic PHP file that outputs some text into our web browser. The first thing we need to do is confirm our WAMP or MAMP server is configured correctly. To do so, simply open your web browser and type localhost in the address bar. You should then see this page displayed. This is the default WAMP page. It provides some important information about the server configuration, including the Apache and PHP version. It also lists some tools that are included in your package. We'll be using these tools in the next section when we work with MySQL database. The page also lists the websites contained in your web root or www folder. Here, we can see the folder we created in the last lesson, PHP Lessons. Remember that this is where all our files will be saved for this section of the course. To make sure your scripts are working correctly, open Notepad++ and type in the code displayed on the screen. We'll discuss the actual code in the next lesson. This file will just output the text "Hello World" in our web browser using the PHP echo command. When you're finished typing in the code, save the file in your PHP Lessons folder as intro.php. You can actually give it any file name, but the .php extension is very important. PHP files will not work unless the .php extension is included. You'll notice we've embedded the PHP code in HTML, but even so, we still need to specify the PHP extension. We cannot save it as an HTML file. Type in the following into your web address, localhost/phplessons/intro.php, and press enter. You should now see the text "Hello World" displayed in your web browser. PHP code can be placed anywhere inside a document. It can be placed in any HTML tag, including CSS. A PHP script starts with the open PHP tag and must be closed with the closing tag. In this PHP tag, we have an echo statement. This statement will display the content inside the quotes. In this case, "Hello World." A PHP statement must end with a semicolon. We've also embedded an HTML tag, the HR tag, inside the echo statement. This will display a horizontal line after our "Hello World" text. And here it is in our web browser. We can see the text "Hello World" with the horizontal line beneath. We can create comments in PHP that are not read or executed as part of the page in our web browser. The purpose of a comment is to provide information to a programmer analyzing the code. Comments are very important in PHP because scripts can become lengthy and complicated, especially to someone who's trying to understand the functions or arithmetic that you've coded. In this example, we've illustrated 3 different formats for creating comments. The double slash and number sign can be used for single-line comments. We can create multi-line comments using the slash and asterisks combination. And so you can see that none of this is actually displayed in the web browser. It's only for somebody interpreting the code. We can insert comments inside arithmetic to leave out parts of a code line, as shown here. We have the equation x is equal to 10 plus 5 plus 20. As you can see, 5 has been commented out. So the result of this equation will be 30, as seen in our web browser, because we're only adding 10 plus 20. For now, don't worry about variable declaration. We'll be covering that independently in another lesson. PHP is not case sensitive when dealing with classes and functions such as an if statement, else statements, while, and echo statements. In this case, each echo statement would work despite differences in case. So in the first example, we have echo in capitals, and the desired output is text sample1 with a horizontal line underneath. And we can see that it outputs just fine. Next, we have lowercase echo. And it's the same line that we're outputting. Just change sample1 to sample2. And we can see that it outputs fine as well. Lastly, we have echo with the E and C capitalized and H and O lowercase. And the output text sample3 with the horizontal line underneath is outputted. Note, however, that variable names are case sensitive. In this example, we have a variable named car, which contains the value Volvo. We then have 3 echo statements, each time changing the case of the variable output car. Only the first line will output the variable correctly, because the case does not match in the second and third line. So we can see here in the first line, the variable to be outputted matches the case of the variable itself, and so it outputs correctly, my car is a Volvo. In the second and third example, the case does not match. And for that reason, we receive two error messages, undefined variable car, and once again, the same message here. Notice that the case is incorrect. And that's why we get those messages. If you're unable to see error messages, you'll need to do the following. Click on your WAMP or MAMP icon. Go to the PHP menu. Select PHP settings. And make sure there's a check mark next to display errors. If that's not there, then you will not see error messages in your web browser.